know that going in, and you deal with it. And like I said, I thought we did a lot of good things. I have no regrets.
About yourself, the last 3 years, the last year, together about just maybe how strong that person you are.
Well, yeah, I think so. And I think Brian Cross and I both learned a lot about ourselves. We talked a lot last year. They really are, I think, are related. They're both tough jobs, very tough jobs. We have a lot of different ways to do it. And it makes you a tougher person. I'm going to be a better football coach because I was there. I'm going to be a tougher person. And I'm going to be a better football coach because of it. I really think it's
How about you talk about the kids at Mass? And, end of the day, politics, everything aside, is that one of the things we're going to miss? Being around the kids and just being there for them. And you said you didn't get a chance to talk to them.
Yeah, that's a tough question. Obviously, I'm going to miss them. I have a lot of ties there, whether it's Bobby Huth or Brian Gamble or Steve Yoder or a lot of the kids that we have there. It's tough to leave. That's the toughest part about leaving for me. Making those phone calls today and telling those kids and hearing a lot of silence on the other end of the phone. But sometimes you don't have control of those situations too. And I understand that also.
Is that a job that you obviously knew what you were getting into, having been an assistant, but is that something you really don't have a full grasp of until you actually get into the position you're in?
You really don't, Chris. What's all involved in that job, from the Boosters Club to Touchdown Club to TV show and radio show, and then having to prepare your team to play football. It's a very difficult job, there's no question about it. And to be honest with you, to get back to more of a normal type of situation, I think is going to be real good for me. Now, I think there's pressure to win every place you go, and there's expectations everywhere you go. And there's expectations here, and there's pressure here. I understand that. But I think getting back to maybe a little bit more of a normal type situation, obviously Master is special in that way. It's different. It's more like a college situation. I think it'll help me. And I think it's something that I was definitely looking for.
Have you had a chance to look at the roster here and see who's coming back? What
No,
they got
I
coming back?
haven't, and I've done that on purpose. I don't want. I think sometimes we as coaches get caught up too much into that. I want to come in with fresh ideas, and I mentioned it in here today. Everybody's got a clean slate coming in, and I've done that every place I've been, and I think that really helps a lot of kids. I think it gives them a new perspective, and I want to. And again, I didn't look at a roster because of that.
26-11, state championship appearance, 3 straight years in the county. Beat another high school after
Not really, Todd. I'll be honest with you. I think if you look at the history of the national job, guys that have stayed longer than 3 or 4 years have struggled. And that's the history of that situation. And, so really, no, I'm really not surprised. I think it's unfortunate that that's the way that job is, and I think it will change. I really do. I think it'll change in the future. But you look at the history of it, and for whatever reason, that's been the history of that job.
all things being equal, there's pressure on and success. Take a program that has improved and goes here that Elma take it to another level. All things being equal, it's almost as tough as you have now than you want to get done.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. It's going to be different. I think it's going to be different, but it's not going to be easy. And, like I said, it's going to take a lot of hard work from a lot of different people. And it's going to take a lot of strong leadership from me also. I understand that. And I'm ready to tackle it. I can use the experience I had at Gowing and Lancaster and Maston and National University, and use all those experiences to make this the best football program it can be.
It's almost more realistic because of everything that surrounds the Maston program. It's almost more realistic than the state title in place. Green, the way the current structure is and everything that surrounds the job?
Well, that's hard to say. I mean, we were 7 points away 3 years ago, so we were right on the fringe. But I like I mentioned earlier, I think when you look at Hilliard Davidson type program and you look at a mentor type program, I think that gives hope for a lot of different people. And don't get me wrong, those are good school systems with great coaches. Steve Trevisano is one of the best coaches in the state of Ohio. He does a great job at mentor. But I think it gives a situation like Green hope and a chance that, hey, we can be like that. Down the road we can get to that point. And I really believe that. I've seen those type of programs grow from nothing and be successful. And I think Green has the same potential.
There's a guy who comes in and going to replace you down in Mass, come to you and ask you for a piece of advice about what would be the biggest thing you
win the state championship.
But then they won the second one.
Yeah. Win and get out, I think I should say. It's a great job. It really is. Like I said, I have no regrets. It's a great football job, and it's very unique. But guy going in there better have thick skin. But you know what? They'll get a great coach. They really will. There'll be a lot of good candidates, and they're going to get a really good football coach. And I made sure that I told these upcoming seniors that I talked to today on the phone, which is about 8 or 10 of them. I told them, I said, you're going to get a good coach in there, and I'm really confident in that.
You talked about those upcoming seniors. Your first year there, you had a really strong senior class. Is that something you kind of impressed upon them? Is look, when I came in, we were coming off back-to-back 4-6s, and we were kind of those seniors kind of held things together.
Right. With the situation we had this past season, the tough season we went through, a lot of distractions off the field, those types of things. I think our upcoming seniors in Mass will learn a lot from that, and they'll benefit from just talking to them in the off season. It'll be a lot different situation for them. They realize the importance now of strong senior leadership, and there's a great group of core guys there in that senior class that'll be able to take that and use it to their advantage. There's no question about it. Kids like Cooper Ivan, Keith Dingler, Matt Rose, Tim Atkins, Mike Clark. I mean, there's a number of them there that'll do a great job in the leadership role.
What would you say was your favorite moment at Massillon?
I think it's probably I think it's probably the win in the Rubber Bowl against McKinley the second time we played them in 2005. I thought that was I learned a lot about our kids. I think more so than anything else that game is the fact that, hey, we're not going to let that first game bother us. We're a better football team than that, and they showed me a lot. I mean, I thought that was an incredible win for us in that year and in that part of our program to come back from the way they really dominated us in Game 10. For us to come back and win it like that in the playoffs, so that was my favorite moment.
Okay.
What would you say your realistic goal coming in after a 3-7 season? What would you say would be a realistic first goal for the first year here at Green?
We want to win the Suburban League Championship. I mean, that's got to be our number one goal. And I think it's exciting to be back into a league. I think it's exciting. I think it's an advantage to it. I think it's a great goal for high school kids. And that's something that I've missed, is not being in the league. And our number one goal is to win the Suburban League, no question.
Did you think that being in a league would have been helpful while you were at Massillon?
There's no question. I think it's, and I've been very vocal about this in the last 12 months or so. I think it would do nothing but help Massillon to be in the Federal League in all sports, and obviously that includes football. I just think it's essential. I think if you look at the overall athletic program there, there's no question that they would benefit from being in the Federal League. Yeah, just to get Oh yeah, I mean when you're not certain, and that's when to be honest with you, my spiritual life takes hold then, and thank goodness I'm really strong in that area, or I think I'd really struggle more. But you put it in the hands of the Lord and you let it go.